Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your favorite Ginger here, aka Mr. Flimsy. And today marks our second week playing Ghost of Tabor. And it has been a journey up to this point. I can tell you this, being this deep into the game, this deep into the wipe, it has been hectic all across the board. But today, I feel like I need to share some tips and tricks. And these are going to be beginner tips and tricks for new players like myself. And I think these are going to be more moderate tips and tricks for maybe veteran players that maybe need a refresher. Okay, so we're going to order these tips from the more beginner side all the way down to what I feel is a more advanced tip for our veterans. So if y'all want to skip ahead, there's timestamps down below. I encourage you to watch through the whole video, maybe just to give you a refresher. But without further ado, let's get into the first tip. Okay, tip number one, and I'm going to start with the gadgets, okay? The gadget utilization. I see a lot of new players not using gadgets, okay? Including myself. I don't use enough gadgets. But when I say gadgets, I mean gadgets like grenades and flashbangs, and also gadgets on your gun. Like, look at this grip, okay? This grip allows me to have more stability when I'm aiming down sight. And also, this sight. This sight makes it a little bit easier to see through. You see? You can see, you can see decently, but once you put the optic on and these optics gradually go up, you can see a little bit better. You already know that dot is where a player's at. I encourage you to use gadget utilization because, for example, you take a grenade, right? You throw it towards an enemy, like that one down there, and no matter what that enemy's wearing, they could be wearing collector, they could be wearing nothing, they could be wearing anything. Any tier in the game, you will one shot with a grenade. So remember, guys, use y'all's gadgets next time y'all are getting ready to go to the raid. Okay, on to tip number two. The gun. Alright, guys, we got. Oh my gosh! What? The gun just, guys, that was crazy. On to tip number two, we are going to be talking about settings, and I know everyone goes over settings. This is more for my new players. This is just what I've learned. I didn't watch no tutorials before coming to the game. This is all just what the subs told me. So you just go here to the settings real quick. All right, we're going to go to game. We're going to make sure that virtual gun stock is enabled. That's just going to allow you to have more stability when aiming down sight. It's going to like put a virtual gun stock on your shoulder. Another huge one that I didn't get for the first few days was player body. Okay, make sure this says arms only. Legs actually shows your legs like this. When you crouch down, they all get up in your way if there's something under you. But arms only makes it where there's no legs, as y'all just seen. Okay, another probably the biggest one out of all of them was this one right here. Hand pinch rotation offset. Okay, that's gonna make it where whenever you bring your gun up, right, to shoot an enemy, whenever you bring your gun up, that's gonna make it flush. So you just want to tweak around with this and see what is flush for you, because sometimes if this is too low, then your hands will be like this, and if it's too high, you'll be shooting in the air. So you're either going to be shooting the ground or the air. You want that to be straight across like an arrow. And the last one is the janky aim fix, okay? Make sure those settings are on. Those are the really big ones. If y'all want graphics settings, I can make another video of my graphics. I actually have the grass turned off now, but yeah, anyone that plays on PC, I can go over graphics. But yeah, these are the big settings. And also go to audio. This is the big one too, guys. If you go to audio, make sure this is squad only. If this is set to open, then anyone can hear you, including your teammates and enemies. Just make sure this is on squad only at all times, okay? Hit apply and go. So yeah, that's tip number two. Very basic. Let's get into tip number three. Alright guys, on to tip number three. Tip number three is going to be more of an advanced one. It's actually going to be positioning, okay? Making sure you have a good position. So for example, I have an alleyway behind me and I have an alleyway in front of me. Okay, so if I scoop my tail behind this car here, but I peek down here, I'm in a position where I can't be shot behind, but I can hear the people running from behind, but I can also hold this if I need to hold it for my teammates' extraction or anything like that. So it's all about having good positioning, guys, to give you the best advantage in these gunfights. And you can use positioning anywhere. Make sure that you are less visible than they are. Make sure you're holding the better angle. At the end of the day, you don't have to have the best aim in the game. You just have to outthink the guy with the best aim in the game. And it all comes down to playing smarter, not harder. Okay, guys? So make sure y'all in a good position where you aren't getting popped left and right. You're like, why am I dying all the time? Yeah, well, you're holding this. I mean, if you're holding this, man, what do you expect? You know what I mean? So make sure you're in a good position. Even if you're behind these sandbags here, this is not the best of positions. If you want to hold that, you want to scoot right here, and you want to hold this like that. That way you can swing left or right, but then you're going to be exposed there. So I would recommend just keeping awareness of your surroundings and holding very good positions. All right, guys, on to my next tip. Tip number 4 is going to be patience. That sounds very, very basic. Like, okay, what do you mean? Okay, I've learned from playing this game, being a new player, that a lot of players are really, really patient. And I've never played a game that was so patient. I come from Call of Duty. I come from, Siege. And Siege isn't the most patient game. A lot of these guys like to aggressively rush. But in this game here, they like to hold little angles and just sit there. You have 45 minutes in a match. So you can sit there for an ultra long time. Okay, so it's about being patient. Watch this clip, for example. I know there's a guy to the right, and I know there's a guy to the left. One of them is actually shooting my teammate here on the street. So what am I going to do? Am I going to push that? No, I'm going to put myself in a positional disadvantage. Why would I push that when this guy's being impatient and he's not willing to wait like I'm willing to wait? So I'm in a good position and I'm being patient. I'm waiting for him to peek his little head around the car. And once he peeks his head around the car, we get that one. And then we're going to get his friend. And watch this, guys. Yeah, we got that guy. Y'all seen that? Had to jump back. Okay, back to the clip here. Okay, so yeah, I get his friend there. And that's called being patient, waiting the enemies out. Because ultimately, you don't have to be the best gunman. You just have to be the most patient. All right, that's going to be tip number 4. And by the way, look at this guy's loot. Yeah, we're doing tips and tricks in a live match. Don't mind me, guys. Don't mind me. All right, guys, on to tip number 5. Tip number 5 is going to be learning spawn locations. For example, if I spawn in that room over there, and then I know there's a spawn below me, I can hold these stairs right over here, or I can push that spawn to get an early pick to try to knock some of this competition out before it even gets started. Or, if I'm not kidding enough, and I believe that you are kidding because I hear suppressed shots, maybe I can just divert my attention this way. I'm not going to go downstairs at all because I know that is a common spawn location. So I'm thinking, if you know the spawn locations, it's a little bit easier for you to navigate around the map so you're not running blindly because you know there's someone under you, there's someone beside you, or it's easier just to get a few more picks. Maybe someone's not expecting you to know where they spawn. So I think learning spawn locations is huge for rooting out where you're going to go later on in the match. On to tip number 6. Alright, guys, now that we're out of that raid, let's get on to tip number 6. Okay, tip number 6 is going to be a crucial one for improving, even if you are an advanced player or you're a new player. Okay, so what you're going to do is go here to the kiosk, and you're going to go right here, pick your favorite map or a map you want to learn, a map you're not too familiar with. I'm going to go to the island Tabor, for example, and you're going to go to training, okay? Not deployment. Go to training, guys. Yeah, you can grab all your favorite gear, your favorite gun, your favorite everything, or maybe a gun you're not really comfortable with. And all you got to do is hit train, and then once you're in a training match, you get to go around, you can practice your aim, you can practice your settings, you can throw anything you want on the ground because it'll all come back to the bunker with you. There's nothing you can lose here, so this is a place where you don't have to worry about gear fear, but you can actually get that because you're very much like this. Well, maybe you want to start tweaking the settings to get to look like that, you know what I mean? Where it's all straight and you're not really missing these targets, and then you get to practice with the NPCs around the map. And like I said, whenever you're ready to leave, you can just abandon raid or you can die. Either one, you're going to go back to the lobby with all your gear. Alrighty, now we're back in the lobby. You see, I still got the flashlight, still got the AK, and we threw it at the end. So, yeah, utilizing training to the fullest of its abilities is crucial for progression within Tabor. On to tip number 7. Okay, guys, tip number 7. Tip number 7 is going to actually come right here to these missions here. If you see, I need to redeem a few. But these missions allow you to successfully level up and compete with other players. For example, Jerry. You want to upgrade Jerry so you can start buying AP powder. Minty, you want to start upgrading Minty so you can have better protection, like helmets and better backpacks that you carry with you. Spectre, you want to upgrade Spectre so you can buy better attachments and guns. So you really want to focus on doing missions at all times. And always make sure there's a mission running and that you're redeeming them. Unlike me, all right? You need to redeem them and you need to make sure you have missions going because that's going to give you the edge over other players. If you outwork the players, then you can get the better progression. All right, guys, so that's going to be tip number 7. Alright guys, on to tip number 8. Arguably the hardest tip to do because it requires you to socialize and find friends. But I would highly suggest everyone to find a duo to play with or a trio. Okay, because let's be honest, the game is a little bit easier and more manageable when you have more people filling up a lobby, right? Because you don't have to worry about all the enemies that you would have to worry about if you're by yourself. Not only that, but you got someone to watch the flanks, you got someone to push with, you got someone to clear with, you got someone to give you pointers. I would say if you're a new player, join a Discord. You can join our Discord down below, or you can join Ghost of Tabor Discord. You can find tons of Discord guys. I would say join a Discord, try to find duo, try to find a trio, try to find someone to play with, to build skills with, because the game is just a little bit easier when you find someone to hang out with. Not only is it easier, it's funner too, okay? Or should I say more fun? Okay, I know someone's going to comment down below, funner's not a word. Okay, whatever, nerd. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up today's tips and tricks, even though there was no tricks. There was just tips. Now, I do, however, have like 15 tricks up in my sleeves that I figured out with some subs and by myself. If y'all want to see that video where I'm just showing off tricks, not tips, then comment down below that you want to see the video. And if we can smash 100 likes on this video, we'll definitely do a tricks video. Without further ado, guys, let's see if we can get this guy with a snipe. Yeah! We got it, boys. All right, without further ado, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.